question.
Sure.
Your name, sir, just...
Mudar Zahran, M-U-D-A-R, and the last name is Z-A-H-R-A-N. You can Google my name. You'll find me on Israel Hayom and Jerusalem Post. I write regularly for Jerusalem Post. Okay. And I'm also a senior consultant for Gatestone Institute.
All right, I have a question. When or should people take to the streets over this issue, or should it be an academic
They've already taken
ivory tower or what? Seriously.
Once things start moving in Jordan and the king starts actually falling, people will start moving and trying to catch up. The only difference is it might be too late by then.
I don't understand. What might be too late by then?
It might be too late to save Jordan from Hamas by then. People should start moving now, but it's very difficult, if not impossible, at the moment to convince the Israel lobby in the U.S. to move towards change in Jordan and mitigating the situation in Jordan.
But do you feel that serious street protest has its value at this point?
They already are happening. The media is not reporting about Jordan, thanks to the bloodshed in Syria and Egypt that's taken the center stage. Nonetheless, people have come so far as surrounded the king's palace 5 times since last May.
I'm talking about in Israel.
People in Jordan have gone as far as surrounding the king's palace while he's inside the palace 5 times. The king's might and stronghold over the army has gone. The king's respect has diminished. And for the first time, the Palestinians in Jordan are able to wave their Palestinian flags downtown Amman, which actually in harmony with the native Jordanian brothers. So it shows you that both sides, for the first time, agree on toppling the king. Don't believe me or us, the Jordanian Palestinian leaders. You have just to believe the king himself, who said to Senator Lindsey Graham that he did not think he would be in power within a year from now. He said the same thing to Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic. He said the same thing to the U.S. Chief of Staff, General Dempsey. So just believe the king, don't believe us.
But once more, I hate to beg the issue, but you feel that Israeli street protests may have some value at this point, organized.
No.
For example, Gilad Shalit was there before the prime minister's home. They were, for many months, years, were counting days and had an effect.
Okay, as far as Israel is concerned, we openly value the peace treaty with Israel and Israel's right to exist as a state that chooses its own faith of Judaism. Nonetheless, we highly recommend that Israel does not meddle in this affair or any of the Arab Spring affairs, which has been the Israeli government's policy, which is a very wise policy. I think the weight lies with the American Jewry, with the Israel's lobby and the Jewish lobby, if I might say, in London, Washington, and Brussels. This is where the movers are. This is where Israel should stay out, and good people like those who care for peace and for Israel in the West should help all of us.
So you feel that protests in front of Netanyahu's residence is
I don't think Israel should openly meddle in this, because it's going to backfire and everyone's going to blame Israel for whatever happens.
What is happening right here, this conference?
This conference is a conference done not by the Israeli government. This is a conference by people who care for the peace and stability of the region.
But power by the people, so to speak, is what I'm thinking of.
Well, Israel is a state of the people. It's not exactly Jordan, one-man rule. But again, we highly recommend that Israel remains out of this very messy affair in the Middle East. It's going to turn very sour, and I think it's back to the basics for Israel when it comes to border security and the religious identity of the state. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.